Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Touch the City podcast. I am Fax Mercury, and this is one of my favorite things to do on planet Earth. And of course, I'm joined here by the illustrious mechanic slash tech man slash photographer slash videographer. Whatever he wants to do, he's going to do it with 100% excellence because that's what we do on this podcast and everybody associated with it.
Oh man, nah, chill, man. I'm just a human being, son. You already know Twim the Human. You know, that's my name now. You already know, just the regular being. I'm just here, man, trying to just spit facts. You feel me? Just, give y'all my insight on, what's going on in the world right now. Whether it's music, tech, blase, blah. We here to just shoot the shit. Feel me?
So we are gathered here on September 21st for episode 28. We're 28 episodes in. If this is your first time listening, thank you for listening. I know you have your choice in podcasts, but you somehow decided to listen to us. So that's a personal thank you for me and Tenny saying thank you. And if you have been listening to us and you're tuning in again reoccurringly, then thank you as well. I mean, anybody listening, doesn't matter new or old, even if you tune in for 5 minutes, you just gave us the click and you want to see what was up. We appreciate you. So we're going to get into it with our infamous how did you do or what did you do this week topic?
I mean,
this week, bro.
Shit, man. I've just been chilling, man, overall. I mean, other than the regular bullshit at work, excuse me. My ass has just been fucking, just being very active at home. And, that's actually been really, really cool. I've been very up about just more organization, for many reasons. Just so I've done a lot of cleaning up, just like all my car stuff, organizing all the different freaking microfibers because I have a billion microfiber towels for specific things on my car, specific things in the house, certain applications. Been doing a lot of that, organizing and actually consolidating my camera lineup. So I've been working really hard to work down my lens lineup. For whatever reason, when I first bought my cameras, I used to just pick up I feel like whatever was the new lens and whatever was hot and, whatever was really ringing off. And, they ended up being good lenses. So I don't mind really having them. But honestly, between COVID and just overall finding myself in many use case scenarios, I wasn't able to use them at least to their max, value. So I actually got rid of one of them today. It was a hard time. It was definitely one of my favorite lenses, but I'm planning on getting I think working down my kit to just 3 different lenses, 2 zooms, 1 prime, because, that's really just what I be on. I don't need too many things to get busy anymore. So that's been pretty fun. And yeah, man, I mean, I've just been doing that, you know what I'm saying? And just watching a lot more, NBA basketball, shit like that, just macking out, relaxing. I haven't even been active. I didn't do anything this weekend. I just been really in the house. I don't know about you, bro.
Before I jump into it, just wanted to say people talk about spring cleaning, but also there's fall cleaning or just that organizational thing, Sometimes it's like that. It's more, I look at it more of a change of seasons in which you decide to say, all right, things are changing. Let me adapt or let me try to go into this fresh. But me for this week was actually focused on my rig computer. Actually upgraded it minus the graphics card. Did i9 32 gigs. Got myself a better motherboard.
That's what's up, man.
So yeah, running much smoother, checking temps, making sure everything's good. I'm just surprised. I really don't do much hands-on work with computers anymore, and I thought I would lose it, and I just was glad to know, I just didn't lose it.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
not
what's
lose
up.
the knowledge to just put it together. So, but yeah, other than that, just casually making music and just really trying to stay afloat for the most part. Definitely the change of seasons, or at least the change in temperature, getting a little colder, was a bit jarring. I was like, whoa, I'm not ready for it to get this cold this fast.
We
just came out.
New York City weather is incredible.
Summer, yeah. So thankfully, it looks like it is going back to the 70s because, that I was ready to be like, oh, no, that was going to just mark the time moving way too fast for me if it just jumps straight into being cold.
Fast.
So, shit, I mean, I'm here in sweats and a long sleeve already.
Yeah, Shay, I see me. I'm rocking a hoodie. And right. I actually got the window open a little bit, just, get some ventilation in the room. But it is crazy how fast the New York City weather changes. We're talking not even 2 weeks ago, it was dead ass 80 degrees outside. But this week, it was legit 50 degrees at night, every single night. I was like, holy cow,
Like
man.
we went and did a little bit of shooting on Saturday, and it was just still. I was like, man, I'm in pants again. Like I was wearing sweatshorts. I'm like, I
Yeah,
have to wear because it's just not. I can't do it anymore. I'm like,
shit is
wow, like,
crazy.
I can't believe it. It's already look how fast. So,
Mhm,
but yes, you mentioned NBA, so I think we should just jump right into that. These playoffs. We said it last week, but this week
mhm.
we got to just see the complete collapse of the Los Angeles Clippers.
Shit is crazy,
And
bro. It's
I
absolutely
just
crazy. At this
you're a
point,
Clippers fan, so I just that's just crazy. I what the hell? How do you feel in
I
terms of it?
mean,
Like, did you look at this and be like, this made sense, or did you, Because when I look at it as like a complete team failure. Like, there's
yeah,
some outer liars, but I look at it as a failure across the board. Like, a lot of
exactly.
people didn't do their jobs.
Nah, yeah, you pretty much like hit the nail on the head. Like, and I mean, I want to clear it up. I'm not a Clippers fan. I root for the Clippers because
Okay,
Kawhi's
okay.
on the team. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Come on,
I'm definitely,
underground.
I'm definitely one of those like LeBron type stands when it comes to Kawhi. Like, I support his teams,
I
but
enjoy the league better when you're just enjoying players, regardless of team. Sometimes I just
exactly.
root for
Yeah.
more.
You see, like, bro, I honestly enjoy every team. Like now I'm not gonna front. I'm rooting for the Lakers. I'm rooting for the Nuggets to come back too. I actually want to see the Nuggets
I,
seriously
you
put
know
up a
what we're
fucking
rooting
fight.
for? We're rooting for good basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's it. I love
we
good
just want to see
sports.
good basketball. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, I guess, but if objectively addressing the like situation overall, it's just I don't know, man. Just like you said, it was a complete collapse from across the board. I mean, it just seemed at one point, the offense that they're so known for, like they're supposed to move the ball, be able to score. Anybody could put the ball in the hole. They began to just like anytime it gets tough. What I've noticed with the Clippers is that they just run mad ISO. They stare at Paul George and Kawhi or Lou Williams and wait for one of those three guys to make a play. And like if those three guys are just ice cold in the ISO, you can't keep going them in ISO and think that they just gonna catch fire, even if they're great scorers. And that's just the problem against a team like Denver Nuggets that are gonna then okay, not only can we play solid defense, we're gonna play decent enough defense on you, but then we're gonna like punish you like offensively, like with a Warriors like offense or like a Spurs like offense. We're gonna move the ball. We're gonna find the best like way to attack you. We're gonna make you work on defense to the point like they really had them running, cutting. Yo, they had to like the type of stops that they had to get to even try and get a stop was incredible. You know how many last second shot clock type of shots?
Yeah.
Like that's what Denver is known for. They really are just incredible ball movement team. Like they're a very good ball movement
They're
team.
young and disciplined, which is
Oh
incredibly
my
dangerous.
god.
Like they play with like that feelings of veterans that know their system, but they're all
Mhm,
young guys that have just been there their whole career so far, like the 4 or 5 years. And
mhm,
Mike Malone's a good coach. He really is. I mean, he was good in Sacramento, and
mhm.
that was Boogie's favorite coach, but they got rid of him. I mean, they were close to trying to make the playoffs. It probably could have eventually, maybe started structuring stuff, but they just let him go. And look, I mean, he's thriving in Denver now. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, it also helps to have who I believe to be the best passing big the NBA has ever seen.
Yeah, and
Uh,
Joker. So like, yeah,
yeah,
it's that's what I'm saying. Like, and you really look at it like, does it really say more about the Clippers or does it say about the Nuggets? Like, I mean, I think it said a lot about the Clippers. Like the Clippers, um, the structure. I think it said a lot about Doc Rivers. Like, it's definitely a lot about Doc
oh yeah,
Rivers. He's a little bit overrated. I feel like he's been overrated. There was a time where they were saying who's the best coaches in the NBA, and it was like some people were saying it's Doc Rivers over Pop, or it's like Pop then Doc Rivers, and it was like, I don't know. There was a like era where Doc Rivers to me just was rated too high. And still to this day he's rated too high. Look how many 3-1 leads he blew. Obviously he did the one I think with Tracy McGrady in Orlando, and then he did
Tracy, yeah,
and then he did the one with the Clippers with Blake Griffin and CP3, and now he got another Clippers one on his resume. I think he gotta go. Personally, if it's me, but I mean, I don't know. Steve Ballmer will probably keep him, and they probably just try and run it back and retool. I don't know what they can really do, but they're gonna try and run it back and just build upon what they did. And I think, don't get me wrong, I still think that's a title team. Like that team is a title contending
yeah.
team if Paul George is averaging 20 to 25 points a game like he's supposed to. He's not supposed to be this scorer that all of a sudden cannot put the ball in the hole. And, like I know him to be a streaky scorer. In Indiana, he was like that, but it was just very odd. I mean, Lou Williams, ice cold, Kawhi, ice cold. Like, we're talking about like Houston choking away their lead against the Warriors, like historic shooting night off all of a
Yeah.
sudden. And it just sucked that Denver just steamrolled them 3 times.
Yeah.
It was just,
Denver
you
took
know,
advantage. That's what you're supposed
mhm,
to do. If they're
yeah,
down and they're not shooting, you can't give them a chance. And I mean, it was
facts.
also looked like divine intervention because Jamal Murray was just throwing up threes.
Yeah,
And I was
like
like, oh my
this
God.
dude is having one of the best postseasons ever right now. Pretty much, like the dude was averaging 50 against the Jazz. Then
They
he came in
literally
again.
flummoxed that defense. Like they just had
Yeah,
no idea how to guard either of them.
yeah, like their 2-man attack was just, to me, was very reminiscent, surprisingly, of like a LeBron and like Kyrie, like where they're just 2-man dominating the game. They're dominating you,
Dominating.
pick and rolling you, like, and just it's just two people that are so highly capable of making a play on the offensive end that you just cannot stop them. And like yo, the Clippers got sent home, man. Hats off to the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are still a threat to the Lakers. The Lakers,
Yeah.
you know, I think their chances versus the Lakers are pretty slim. You know, kind of transition over into that question. Like their chances versus the Lakers overall is going to be pretty slim. But you know, this team you can't count out. You can't count out
Yeah.
until you put them away for 4 games. And I mean, you know, how do you think the Lakers are looking right now? I mean, they went up 2 games. Anthony Davis, the big game winner.
Yeah.
That
It
shit is pretty
definitely,
crazy.
that was definitely, you know, that was a shit.
That was
They
a hell
won
of a
by
shot.
this. Yeah, the hell of a shot. They won by the skin of their teeth.
Mason
I look
Plumlee
at it as
choked.
he choked. I look at it as holy fuck. Nikola Jokic just willed his team at the end of that fourth quarter
11
to a game.
quarters. Yeah.
That man was just like, no, I don't want to lose. I'm gonna figure this out. And I was watching that, like, I can't believe this guy can do this. I'm like, he looks so slow out there. Like nothing he's doing other than his passing looks, and I just mean looks remarkable. You're just like, yo, he is just so nice.
You know who he looks just like, honestly? He looks like MVP Dirk from the Dallas run, yo. He looks,
It
he looks,
so crazy.
if not just as good as him, he looks better than him. Honestly.
I don't even know how to classify him because the only passing big I could think of is Arvis Sabonis, but like he was nice, but Jokic is so much nicer. Like I just never seen somebody just command an offense at the center position and just look over people and be like, no, I see you. And that just opens up the floor for them. The rest of the team plays so encouraged when he's passing the ball.
Facts. Yeah, like
And
they just trust him. They trust him so much when he has the rock.
When you got somebody or people on your team that know that they're going to pass the ball to if you get open, that's so encouraging. And that's exactly why I feel like, you know, because it's not just the Clippers, but anytime you see ISO offenses, you know, offenses that resort to ISO, guys staying around because they know that shit ain't coming to me anyways.
Facts, yeah.
You know, I'm
they
a
know
wafer if they hit me for the 3, but it ain't really coming to me. But you're going to move around if you know I might see the ball. So, but yeah, between that, I mean, shit, Lakers, yeah, Anthony Davis, LeBron.
Yeah, shit, he's been on a tear, man. Look, like Anthony Davis, he had 37 in game 1, 31 in game 2. They're not gonna have an answer for him. If he averages 30 this series, they're gonna sweep him. Honest, they're gonna sweep the Nuggets if he keeps averaging 30.
Seen those minutes per game numbers from them? I didn't realize. I didn't realize that throughout this entire season, the Lakers are literally 55-0 when they have a lead.
Yeah, nah, they're like.
I was like, what? I couldn't believe that.
Nah, the Lakers look mad dangerous right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even think the Clippers would have been able to beat them. To be honest, the way they were looking, like it's just like you can't be streaky against that type of team. And you know, I knew the Clippers
were playing valuable minutes.
Yeah, Rondo's playing like he's playing like a champion. That's what's happening. Like people, you know, like people
got me for, right?
I don't know why people are so shocked that an NBA veteran takes the playoffs more serious than a regular season. Like an NBA veteran that has won a title takes the playoffs more serious than a regular season. It shouldn't be a shock that Rondo is a point guard in the playoff season. Like he's gonna play like his life depends on it. Look at Paul Millsap for the Denver Nuggets. He's going the fuck off or every other game, hitting timely shots, making timely defensive plays as an NBA vet because he knows what's at stake. He's making a play for the playoffs. I mean, for the chip. So you know, I think like, I mean, that's gonna be a hell of a series. I think. Game 3 is up for grabs. I don't know who. Like, you know, I think if Denver can get game 3 and then go back down game like 3-1 again, they got all the momentum again, man. They just got all the momentum to just make a historic. Like, they feel good in that position. They feel good in that position. They don't mind being down. So this series is just not over until they put them out. Like, you know, I still got Lakers, I think, in 5, though. Lakers in 5.
I still got Lakers purely off the strength of, like, they have the 2 best players on the floor.
Yeah.
Like,
and LeBron hasn't even gotten it going yet. Wait till LeBron gets it going.
Yo, LeBron has literally only been playing 33 minutes, and his career average for points for minutes in the playoffs is 41. He's playing 7 less minutes. This man he's chilling.
Yeah, he's chilling right now. He only put up 26 points last game, bro. Wait until LeBron has like his 30 to 40 point game against
Or
this
if
team.
there's a game that they need him to play all the minutes, he's gonna play all the minutes. And
Exactly. Yeah, nah, it's like,
and he'll be fresh. He'll be
and
like, oh yeah, okay.
And wait till they like throw him only on Jamal Murray, because Jamal Murray starts going off, and then Jamal Murray fucking goes 0 for 13 like in the fourth quarter, something crazy like that.
Ron's gonna block him, then come up the court, do that stupid ass jab step move he has.
Yeah, the stupid job. Yeah. Oh man, I love that stuff.
But shit, in the East, that game 1, I mean, game 1 and 2 was good, but that block in game 1 to save it, that was incredible.
Yeah, no, Miami versus the Celtics, man. I don't even know like who's gonna win that series, because I feel like the Celtics, they really can catch fire at any time. Like I think they can come back and still steamroll the Miami. Miami's playing really good defense right now, and I think they do have the best player in the series in Jimmy Butler. Like, but at the same time, I don't know, man. It's just like that's really a toss-up series, because what is it, 2-1 right now, or is it 1-1?
I think it's 1-1 actually.
It's 1-1?
Yeah. I believe if they're playing today, then.
Yeah, I think they play tonight for that third game. Yeah, no, that's gonna be. Well, wait, no, I'm actually no. It's 2-1. Yeah, it's 2-1. Yeah, it's 2-1 right now. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, Miami's up 2-1. I don't know if Miami goes up 3-1, it's over though. Like I don't think the Celtics are coming back from a down 3-1 deficit. We've had a little bit too many of those in the last couple of years. I feel like this shit is just out of control now.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Yeah, and we've seen it so much. I think people are starting to get spoiled, but it's like not every team is really capable of that 3-1 comeback shit.
Mm.
It just doesn't happen that often.
No, that's a fact. Yeah,
honestly, legitimately, I think the most exciting playoffs I've seen in probably like the last 10 years or something. Like every series I've seen, for the most part, minus like a few of the first round series, are all like, damn, like these are, again, I just look at it as a testament to the talent pool in the NBA, that every team, or at least in contention, has somebody worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
We played the Rockets, we took them to 7 games. Lou Dort, people didn't know who the hell that was. He's showing up. Next series, you get something crazy, minus like a few series for the most part. Like these have all been really exciting series outside of, like the occasional sweep. And then, I didn't really find the Lakers in Houston series.
There. Yeah, nah. Yeah, I guess I could agree to some degree. I mean, like, I feel like there's definitely, I don't know, these last couple of years, like, the super team era got boring, but like the start of it was fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I saw like the 3-1 comeback with the Cavs and LeBron doing it, that was different. Yeah, that was history.
No, and I'm not discrediting. That's what I meant to say playoffs entirely, meaning like, yo, we're not even at the finals yet. And games are just so intense from the first round. Like there's been so little bad games. Like the quality of all of this basketball, because that one was good, but like you knew Bron was steamrolling through the East, which he did.
He did, but I mean, he hit a lot of game winners in that one too, though. Like it was just like there was some epic moments. Like I feel like, and I don't know, maybe I'm I'm truly a basketball holic. So I literally I think over the last 10 years, I've watched so much basketball. It's actually disgusting some days. Like I'm
just thinking of like, it's the fact that, all right, that one was incredible because we saw a lot of game winners, bro. Like we're just seeing also, not on top of that, we're just seeing historic things from people who like Jamal Murray coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Saying, like, what kind of numbers are you putting up? Him versus Donovan Mitchell. We're like, yo, this is the first round. They're duking out. Like they played against each other 4 or 5 times. Like it's the Bulls and Jazz or something.
Yeah. So, you're definitely right. You're definitely right in that regard. Like there's a lot of like crazy series. Nah, for sure. Like I think I agree to like, honestly, I agree for the most part. Like this is definitely, especially given the circumstance of COVID, the fact that they had to come back, and then some of these people are coming back and just putting on historic performances. It's like, oh shit. And I mean, shit, you got Alex Caruso sometimes going crazy in games, like random players like that. Like it's just like, you really got to respect the time. And I mean, like shit, that's another thing. I mean, you seen the LeBron whole. I mean, shit. How do you feel about this whole MVP situation? I actually want to make sure to get that in there.
Yeah.
Giannis was named MVP. Like, do you think it's time to revamp the MVP? Because I think Giannis deserved MVP. I guess, like, let me just get my shit over real quick. Giannis deserved the MVP because obviously
They were the
given
best
the
league,
best
and you're the
regular
best
season and
player
you had
on
the
the
best
best
stats.
league.
Facts, like by PER, by advanced metrics, by like no, like everything across the board say, yo, Giannis was the better player this season. Now, like I feel like that does that really speak more to some like, oh, offensive player of the year award, a statistic player of the year award, where like you had the craziest statistical season, but realistically, I mean, you look at LeBron and what he did, and like the stats that he put up, and then like you actually watch the games, you're like, yo, LeBron is the better player. There's not even a question. Like,
It's always been to me a matter of like the context, which is
mm,
why the criteria varies from year to year. It's always the context, and sometimes that context tends to be like hypocritical at times. Sometimes the context, varies. Like the context for the MVP for the most part is always going to be somebody new.
mm,
Because if LeBron has 4 MVPs, but he could have won more. But Derrick Rose had an amazing season, but Bron also had a really good season. It could have been
mm,
argued that Bron could have got that over Derrick Rose. Same
mm,
Steve Nash got an MVP. People say that could have been Kobe's MVP. So
mm,
that's the time where sometimes the narrative necessarily looks at saying, all right, that guy's been doing it for some time, but look at this new cat doing it out of nowhere. Boom. Or sometimes it'll be, because the year Russ won it, people were
mm,
saying, well, contextually, sure, triple double, but people said, well, your team wasn't the best. You only
mm,
brought them to fifth seed. Why the hell are you getting MVP? So you can argue in some ways, like the context, context changes it year to year. And it's just depending on, I guess, what those people vote for the context. But
mm.
clearly, unfortunately, that context changes the definition of most valuable player. It
Facts.
doesn't always mean the best player in the entire league. I don't know what the award's supposed to be. That's why it's just most valuable player. Same thing in football. They usually give it to like a quarterback or something for throwing a bunch of fucking yards, and it's just incredible.
Mhm.
Like that goes.
I don't
Has
know if
that?
I know enough about football. I think they have more than one award though.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm saying
like they
MVP.
address it, you know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I feel like the NBA needs to like get in that track. It's been 30 years. Like they
Yeah.
haven't touched an award since 30 years.
I just wonder if it are you going to do an offense player of the year? Like, is there just going to be something for the guys in the higher seed getting something over it? Because like sometimes if I look at that, if you look at MVP, but then also look at like, all right, if you got all NBA first team, like
Mhm.
sometimes I look at that like, all right, I find that better than sometimes not getting an MVP, but just in a way that shows like, all right, you are a better player at times. Because like
Yeah.
I said, it's just contextual. Like, because there's some seasons you're sitting there like, people are duking it out for MVP, and you don't know who's gonna win it.
Mhm.
There's those few years it was Steph or Harden, and either
Mhm.
way, you could have been swayed that this person could have won it over them.
Mhm.
So it's just like
Yeah.
it's really context sometimes. And
Mhm.
I hate it though, because I guess like I would like something more subjective, but then again,
Mhm.
I don't know if people would complain if if we were to say LeBron was gonna win it every year because of that.
Mhm.
Because he's
I
the
mean,
best
but I
player.
like I actually feel like I don't know, like there's something about like to me just splitting it up that actually would just clean up the context because like to me, not just because you clean it up, I don't think LeBron would win MVP every year. Actually, I think he would lose it some years. Like there
Oh
would be
yeah,
years where like all right, like Giannis could put up those numbers, but if Giannis is putting up those numbers and he's shooting the three at 40% clip and he's shooting from the line at 90%, 85, 88%
yeah.
clip, he's assisting the ball at an 8% per game, 6, 7 per game. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna be like, oh no, that's the best player in the world. You know what I'm saying? Or you could even look at like a Steph or even a Durant. If Durant was on the court right now, like you could make the case, yo, he is the MVP. He's the best player in the world. Look at
Um,
what he's doing for his team. Like I feel
but
like,
he would.
and then you still have the stats. So like, regardless of the fact, like maybe you got Westbrook, he is averaging a triple double. He's putting up a PER that don't make sense. He's doing numbers since Will. He's doing the best numbers since Wilt, but maybe his team's not winning. But no, he still has a chance to win Offensive Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying, or Statistical Player of the Year award.
Would you say that your other award would be Offensive Player of the Year? So that would be like the totality of stats that say you are by far the best player in terms of raw stats, would be the only judge for that Offensive Player of the Year. Would you consider any sort of record at all? I'm just wondering.
Nah, I don't think I would consider record on that because to like the record to me the record team like because sometimes the record isn't your like control. Like you get drafted to as a rookie
Yeah.
and you are locked into a rookie deal for how many years it is? I think it's like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the chance to do the extension, but they give you so much money that they make it like it's a fool. Like
Hard.
you're a fool to usually turn away the rookie deal. You have to be a transcendent player to do stuff like that, one of the
Yeah.
ones that's going to be able to change the game. So it's like really one of those situations where it's like, all right, for 8 years of your career, 9 years of your career, you might be locked into a losing situation like Devin Booker. Like Devin Booker
Mhm.
is just locked into a losing situation and there's not really much he can do about it. But it's just kind of like, he should be winning some type of statistics for something he's doing. I'm not saying he should be getting MVP. I'm not saying anything like that. But, if he's putting up like Harden like numbers or if he goes crazy, starts doing triple double like numbers, like he should be like capable of winning. Like look at Bradley Beal, bro. He got left off of the teams, period,
And
because
that's
of his
why
record.
that's what that context is. People just
Exactly. Yeah, it's like that's a tainting like figure. Like to me, context, like if it's gonna apply, then it needs to be a rule. Like, okay, your record applies to how we grade, where you sit in the NBA. And I mean, obviously amongst the media, amongst the conversation, we already gonna apply those things. But like if it's not just written down into the rules, then it shouldn't disqualify anybody because I mean there is money behind getting all teams and certain extensions and things like people be forgetting like it is a business and their job to like get on these teams. Like they get bonuses. Oh, like I mean they're millionaires. Like I don't want to fucking feel bad for their dumbass pockets. Like you can ride the pine and get like $1 million in the NBA right now. So I don't want to feel bad for them, but at the same time, like I do understand like if it's something that I was really great at and I'm trying to like get awards and succeed at it and do like you should get a chance. So yeah,
he's trying to be the
yeah,
which is
like because I feel like people were a little hard on LeBron for being mad that he didn't get MVP votes, and they were saying, "Well, he didn't have the better season." Well, I'm like, no, well, he's the best. He was the best
but
player in the
also
league this year.
you're talking to guys that are so competitive. All
Yeah,
of the guys that believe that
yeah,
they were the MVP are gonna feel rubbed. And people are talking about, well, Kobe ever. I'm like, bro, are we talking about the same Kobe that was literally like seconds away from being like, yo, trade me. I'm fucking done. Get me out of here right
yeah.
now. I'm trying to win a chip. Like,
I'm
no, like
telling you, bro.
that's just what they do. Like it's nothing wrong. They just competitive. They're like, nah, I was walling. Well, how you not gonna give me that shit? I was walling. I'm me. So I don't
Yeah.
listen. That I don't care. But I would just say, just my final point before we move on.
Mhm.
Would you have a caveat so that the same player doesn't win both awards? Because what happens if, let's say, a Giannis has the best statistical year of any player and also is the best player on the best team in the league? Would you allow for them to win the same award? Because then I'm just.
No, I like that question. I like that question a lot. I feel like I would personally say that there's nothing wrong with winning both. It's kind of like the player that can win MVP and win Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, that's what Giannis just did, right? So, like, you can do that. Like, you can do that, and that should speak to your greatness. Imagine being the Defensive Player of the Year, the MVP, and the Offensive Player of the Year that does everything. Like, you're literally the best, most complete player in the game. You are the most complete player. Like Jordan would have had a couple of those, and Jordan should have been able to have a couple of those. Like, how do we have Michael Jordan without like 8 MVPs? It actually does not make sense when you think about it. Like he was literally the best player on the planet, putting up some of the best numbers we've ever seen, like every single year. And people, they was just giving it to other people for no reason. So it's just kind of like, you know, and I mean, just like you said, like I guess to close up on it, it's just like I do put a lot of value on the other awards. So I like first teams, second teams, third teams, defensive awards, defensive teams, and specifically the Finals MVP. I think the players overall is kind of like, when we talk about the Grammys and the Emmys and all this bullshit, and like black people not getting their fair vote and their fair share of like recognition for their awards. Put more emphasis on your Black BET awards. Put more emphasis on Black awards. Create your own award that you guys recognize and celebrate and add value to. Don't necessarily feel that, okay, I need the MVP. You might be right because they might never come up with the Offensive Player of the Year. Appreciate the Finals MVP. Be one of the players that gets yourself to the promised land like LeBron James and contend for a title and win another Finals MVP. Because to me, that shit is more important, at least on his resume at this point.
I agree
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
no,
Let's
facts.
jump into some quick little tidbits here. Today, for all my gaming people, Microsoft decided to acquire ZeniMax, the parent company of Bethesda, for $7.5 billion. For context, that is twice the amount that Disney paid to buy Star Wars. Just for reference, $7.5 billion for a company is crazy in general. Just outside of games, that is an absurd amount to pay. So ZeniMax owns Bethesda ID. So basically, they now have Doom, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, Prey. So all of this stuff is going to be under the Microsoft umbrella. They already said that their future games coming out will be made exclusive, not exclusive, but will be on Game Pass in those games come out.
Wow, so, no, this is like I just think this shit is crazy, bro. It's just crazy. You know, like I just think at this point, I mean, with this generation of just consoles and the acquisitions, I mean, I guess like that conversation. Do you think exclusives hurt or benefit the business, like overall, whether it's entertainment as gaming or anything? The idea of exclusivity, because I feel like we see this wave across all brands, across every industry.
I don't mind less necessarily like company. Well, all right, let me not say that. I don't like companies absorbing other companies for the most part because usually, at least monopoly, so on and so forth. But it looks like at the very least, I don't really know the inner workings. But as far as like some companies that Microsoft have purchased and others that Sony have purchased, it seems that like they're just letting them do their thing. It's like very minimal intervention. I don't like when it's exclusive content, or games exclusivity to one thing, because I just look at it like you're having your profits, or I don't know, but I'm not a business person, so I don't know if if they're having their profits by not making it accessible on PC or Xbox, or they're making more money because they're basically saying if you want to play this game, you have to get our system. That's purely like a Sony thing, because for the most part, Microsoft's like, listen, it's going to be out there. Like, we don't really do the exclusive shit as much, but also like I like it because I'm on PC, so I can play the Xbox and PC. So you could do crossplay, could do all that shit. So sometimes I get bothered by how enclosed Sony is, because we could be talking about the great gaming utopia we've always been looking for, which is crossplay for everything. Like just be like, all right, you buy it on here. That's just your console and certain things you like, but at this point now, like just combine it all together. And I think we should be getting there, because consoles are now going to be running 4K or 1440, 60 frames, 120. So there's not too much of a gap where people be like, oh, PC it's so crazy, or they have a graphic superiority or advantage over players. So it all seems to be that it's getting equalized out. So I feel like now we could start moving towards that. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes of this, because I don't think, from my understanding, I don't think Microsoft's going to really try to intervene. It's like, whatever y'all doing, just do it. Just it's going to come to Game Pass and X, Y, and Z. So I like it when it's that, but when you start probing and encroaching on developers trying to do their shit, that's when I hate it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad actually I let you say that and kind of let you get your shit off first, because that's my exact problem with the whole fanboys, the console wars. Like I see grown men on the timeline arguing Sony versus like Xbox and memeing and things. And look, I'm all for fun, but I'm all for fun about dumb things. Like, to me, that's one of the dumbest things to be fun about. It's very similar to the Apple versus Android conversation. It's very similar to just like the whole idea of exclusives is just dumb. Like, we've seen it fail time and time again. We've seen what it does to industries. Like, I mean, look at the mobile industry for a while when the iPhone was exclusive to AT&T, and remember all
Android days? Remember the first Galaxy S, and it was like 4 different versions, because each was a different version for each carrier. There was the regular Galaxy S. There was like some Galaxy S for Sprint, where it had like a flip up screen,
flip up screen with a special version. Like, it's just like that. None of that stuff ever made sense, and we've seen where that stuff leads us. So we see where it leads industries. So like when we look at even the gaming industry dating back to the 90s, with all the different consoles that we had at different times. And don't get me wrong, obviously, the PlayStation and the Xbox came, and you would just think, okay, they were the behemoth that kind of swallowed everything. they were the behemoth that swallowed everything because developers started supporting those two brands directly. Versus, like, you had the GameCubes, you even had the Nintendo. Nintendo very barely gets support now, but with the Switch, and the capable technology of the Switch, it's starting to get more crossplay titles. A lot of these general Fortnites, the spell breaks of the world, the games like that, they're getting access to all these titles, and that's a good thing. But you look at like the Dreamcast, the Sega Genesis, all these like systems that just weren't able to survive. It's because of the fact that you have exclusivity. And I mean, that's my number one problem with the fanboys and like just like toxic Xbox versus Sony. And I think it's really just it's a Sony hive. It's not an Xbox thing, just like you said. And that's why I was glad you said that, because it's not an Xbox thing. Xbox has always been kind of like everybody could get it. Everybody can get it. Like that's really what it was. Other than fucking
like
obviously Halo and Gears. Those are the only two games for real that we can say, all right, there was a little exclusivity about. But other than that, everybody can get it.
Because I see the same dudes that be having the jokes being like, "Oh, Xbox got no exclusives. We over here playing Spider-Man X, Y, and Z."
Mhm.
And when this happened, they're like, "Oh, I don't like when this happens." And it's like, well, you were fine with those exclusives, but now you getting locked out of, or you might think you get locked out of games, and now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem.
Yeah.
And you should have seen some of the dumb arguments. Oh, like at least Sony was like working and doing it organically. Now Microsoft is trying to compete, and all they're gonna do is drive down the industry because they're forcing and not allowing people to play the games that they want. Like they're like stealing games for people. Like, are y'all serious? Do y'all listen to yourselves? Like, are y'all like? And these are the same people that I swear will say that Apple people that like Apple iPhones and the Apple ecosystem are sheep for buying into that system, and that Android has more freedom. They're the same ones that swear, okay, Sony is the only gaming console that I can use. You are stupid if you buy an Xbox. Like it's some of the dumbest, just some like non-critical thinking that I've ever seen, at least, amongst this new generation. And I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, like the acquisition, I thought was a good thing. I mean, if it is going to create competition, I would love to see it, because to me, it needs to create competition, because Sony is trying to become a monopoly, at least on the console end. Like, I think Xbox appeals to a different market. They're like more appealed to taking over your living room. Like, that's supposed to be one of those things that not only can be your video game system, but it really is an entertainment system. So the PlayStation isn't marketed that way. Like, it's not an entertainment system. So, I mean, personally, I think it's good. If it's pissing Sony off, I mean, and maybe we'll have Sony come up off the whole exclusivity wave, then absolutely. But if it's going to create a fucking bidding war, then I mean, it's so be it. We're here already. I mean, I'm team PC all the way, so I don't even give a damn.
And not to diverge too far from the point, but Microsoft's really trying to push the Game Pass thing.
And I love it. I love it.
And listen. And like, you probably know what I'm about to say, but not everybody has the fiscal means to be dropping what's now going to be $70 on games. So imagine, a little $15 or $20 a month.
Like, you can play on your console, you could play it on your old games, you could play it on your PC. Bro, you can oh my god, there's so many different ways to like. It's such a great deal. I don't even understand the anger of it. Like, what's the hate?
You can have, and I sometimes I understand people's concerns about, like, just in general about media moving away from, like that ownership kind of thing. You have streaming where you're listening to the music, but if at any point in time you either lost that login or you don't pay that money, you don't have access to it. But of course, as always, there's the convenience side. But sometimes there's trade-offs where if you're that guy or that person that has the ability to store things physically, cool, by all means, go and do you. But some people don't have those kind of funds. And for $300 for a Series S and Game Pass, that's the price of a Switch. And for a few, $20 a month, access to however many games is going to come to Game Pass. That's a great budget for, a mother or father or parents looking to get their kids something, boom, they're going to be satisfied with for a long time. It's small, portable, boom. So I look at it like that. Like, some people are talking just from their standpoints. I'm trying to consider all alternatives when it comes to this. And just, your situation is not someone else's situation. So you can't just willingly dismiss it because, like, oh, that's stupid. I want to own all my games. Then go buy them. Nobody's stopping you. But some people, that's the better option for them to do. Be like, yo, all I got to pay is $20 a month and I can get these games. And, I just download them. That's it. Boom. Then, hey, more
You all
power
set.
to them.
More power to
So
them. Facts. Nah,
right.
that's facts, honestly. And I mean, the console. Hopefully, the console generation. I mean, and the console players, they kind of like get over that. Because I mean, on the PC side of things, we're cool, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know about that 3080 launch. That motherfucker was
Yeah, I was just
crazy.
about to say that shit. Between
Yeah,
the 3080 and the PS5, I was talking to Ruthie about it. You and me know because we're also sneakerheads. So,
Mhm.
we know what the issue is. It's bots. It's
We
these
know the
bots, it's these
the botting
scalpers.
culture, the scalping culture, bro.
We've
It's
seen
crazy.
this coming. Like, we know when all these purchases, like, we see this as sneakerheads. Like, yo, people are out here, buying these things with these bots that are just jumping the line. All these macros, these scripts that they're writing, and it
Mhm.
just freezes people out. But it's just crazy how you see time and time again companies make that type of release where you have to know it's going to be a bot kind of release. So
Mhm.
I'm just sitting there like, yo, Nvidia, how could you possibly just be like, oh, okay, well, that's it. Like, I literally sat there and I'm refreshing. My shit went from notify me to out of stock. And I
Out
was
of
like,
stock.
I didn't see a sale button, bro. It was -1 frame startup. Like, it
It
was
was
crazy.
heartbreaking. I wanted to shed a
I
tear,
was like,
bro. I was
I was
so sad.
like, yo.
I was so upset. And I mean, it's so sad. Just like you said, I mean, we've seen it come in. Like, if you've been on the Supreme wave, you've been on like the Bape wave and shit.
Right.
I mean, you even look at the modern things, like I mean, like bags,
Telfar.
Talfar, you had the fucking I mean, for a while, Fenty makeup is still like one of those things that you can barely get your hands on. For a long time, it was that Kylie Jenner bullshit. The makeup was going crazy. So it's
It's
just like
whatever has hype. I hate that shit.
whatever has
It's
hype now, man.
whatever
It
has
doesn't
hype. The
matter.
bot, those people that them resellers that be scalping, they're gonna take that shit, drive up the fucking price, and try to sell it. And then
Yeah.
it's just so terrible every time. And it's also like I have to put it on the companies because, like, for example, the 3080 release. What they could have easily what you could do is only one per customer can be added to cart. Boom.
Facts.
That's
That's it.
first of all. Two, and then you could have had, several checkpoints, a captcha, something to verify human activity. But instead, you just let the shit go. You let people get freezed out, knowing it's going to be hotly anticipated. Or you do something like, the PlayStation release was just as bad too. I mean, I'm not sure if it either helped or hurt Sony to have it just drop on a random day and just all of a sudden they were up. But because it gives people more of a chance. But also conversely, again, you had that one dude who bought, what was it, like 104 PlayStation 5s for like $47,000.
Yeah, I thought he was up. I'm not even gonna
Sony.
lie. And Sony maxed his shit. They put that shit
Sony
into
Max
over.
is
I
it.
respect it, Sony. Shout out Sony for doing
And
that.
that's what's crazy because that's all that these companies need to do. Just literally make more or just have more in stock. And I just don't
Speed up
understand.
production, yeah.
Right, speed up production. And I totally understand, the production means, but I just don't understand from the point of like knowing, like, for these releases, you should have at least more production up front, knowing like, all right, that initial wave, you should try to satisfy as much as possible. Not only that, like, people are gonna buy the shit, so it's not like you making it exclusive or having this limited quantity is gonna make this all the more rare. Like, no, people are itching to buy these things. People are dying to buy PS5s.
People have
like,
been waiting for
and
how
look,
long? How long has the PS4 been out? Like, we're talking like it's been a decade since you've been having these
PS,
consoles, essentially. Almost a
yeah, like
decade at least.
20, yeah, like 2013, I want to say.
Yeah,
PS4.
7 years
So
feels like forever in tech. So
I know.
like
So
I
7 years,
respect it.
people
Yeah.
been waiting, right? Like you said, and all that they need to do is at least make a little more stock available, and they decided to do that. Boom, my man just got invalidated. He's gonna have to sell at a loss, but that's the lesson they need to learn. You can't be going around doing this scalping shit. He thought he was about to have a come up, and now it sucks to suck because that's not how it should have went. So I hope more companies learn this going forward. When you do shit like this, you need to at least provide people a chance, but they don't really give a shit because they're getting their money. They don't give a shit about the Chads and the Brads buying up.
Facts. Yeah. Like I feel like, it's so weird. Like, cause I feel like Telfar did a good job with that shit with the bag like reservation program. They did the thing where they were selling out every week. They were buying, people were selling it for double the price. Bro, they said, yo, one day, 24 hours, we're gonna allow unlimited orders. Anybody can order, it's just up to one. One, you could only order up, I think, one bag at a time, or it was like one of each bag or some type of thing at one time, and that's it. Like, you just order it, You paid the money, and then they have like a 3-month delivery window. So I had ordered one for wifey just because like shit is right
Yeah.
there. You don't even got to fight. So hey, yo, you want which kind of bags you want? We just get the orders right now. Like boom, knocked it out. I know at least that I got the confirmation. I got it all. In the next 3 months, I'm getting that bag. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting that bag, and it's for sure. You know, obviously with this company, I would hope obviously they'll hold it true. I never heard of them at least until they hype, but I'm supporting them because they're supporting Black Lives Matter movement. So shout out them. You
Yeah.
know, I would hope that an Nvidia or a Sony, just like you said, y'all do a simple 24-hour period. It don't matter if the scalpers get it done. If everybody's able to secure their card then in a pre-order, then it does not matter if the scalpers have like 10,000. And especially if you're going to still have general stock afterwards, you're going to still sell the card. So the scalpers won't be able to win if you are flooding the market with your product. And I mean, hey, maybe they'll feel like they're taking a loss somehow, or maybe the reputation of it. And I don't know, like, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, to me, I think that's such a simple solution. It's such a
right.
simple solution.
What do you think? You're going to dilute the brand? No. The reason why people are lining up is because your brand is that good.
Yeah,
People
you're gonna make
dying for
more
Nvidia.
money from just the pre-orders alone than you would make ever selling the car. I feel like you would probably sell more on that day than you will ever sell ever with the card if you just allowed it.
And
That
just
is.
one more point that I'm sure you like you said, they had the email reservation thing, and even just how some sneakers, they have the raffle thing an hour before. Here,
Mhm.
input your name. You might get selected, you might not. Who knows? It's just random. Oh shit, you can buy it once you have access to it. You don't got to worry about it getting sold out. It's boom. You got your raffle, you go in, you get your shit, boom.
That is
That's
a
how it
fact.
could be
Actually,
too.
that's the
They
smartest
could have
way.
did that
Actually,
shit
sign
a
up for the
week
raffle.
before.
Yo,
They could have had a raffle. They could have had,
selecting like 2 million people that are going to be able to pre-order the card, and you might
right.
get lucky. You might get lucky. That
That's
actually is the smartest idea I feel like I've heard left. And I mean, you know, I think the idea is, you know, obviously people are still going to be able to bot it. Oh, bot accounts that can sign up and different addresses and
yeah,
VPNs. Like, it's really a fucked up world. The information age has
yeah,
just created like a situation where it's very easy to scam. Like when people got to show up in face, and that's why I still support the brick and mortar
yeah.
location.
That's a
I
good point.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you need the physical location. As a guy that's formerly worked at Best Buy, like I truly understand the importance of having these walk-in locations. I'm still to this day, bro. If I need a computer part, I prefer to go over to Best Buy. I prefer to go over to Micro Center. I want to see the part, feel it, check it, inspect it. I want to be able to check it as soon as I get in my car, make sure it looks good before I even get home and fucking stress myself out with a broken part. You know, things get stolen every single day in shipment. Like I have
Yeah.
friends that work in UPS and in FedEx and say, hey, you know, there's people that are taking this stuff. This is what happens. And I mean, shit, I've worked in retail. I've seen people steal. So it's just, you know,
Stealing,
like,
it just gets damaged, and shit happens.
yeah,
It's not their fault. Some shit could swerve, boom, it falls off. Like
yeah,
that's just the nature of the game. So sometimes, like you
exactly.
said, you can't just dismiss that physical portion. Like, and
Mhm.
now it's hilarious because I feel like for certain things, people have begun to just not even think about the store to the point that I've had people tell me like, yo, the shit sold out online, and then they're like, but I went to the store and it was there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
No, that's
people
a
are
fact.
just like straight ignoring stores, and it's like, oh, sold out online. Fuck, that's it. And even I see shit online get sold out like a sneaker, and then I go to the store. I'm like, but the shit is here. I'm buying it, and I'm like, that's just crazy. People didn't even think maybe I should check the store if it gets released in stores, but you know.
That shit is
But
crazy, bro.
anyways, some more topics to get a little bit more serious. I'll do both of them back to backs, just to wrap it up before we get into the meat of the episode, the big topic. So I'm not sure how far long ago this was, but it was revealed in, I believe, a memo, a document from the government that somebody had found that said that the United States Postal Service had a plan, and their plan was for the pandemic was to send 5 masks to every household in America. But the government said no and scratched that plan. So we're talking about I'm just let that just settle in, that the Postal Service was like, hey, let's get everybody well equipped. Here's 5 masks. Just offer it. Everybody got a mask, do your thing, just something to start with. Government's like, absolutely not. So
I don't even know how people can just continue to validate anything that is Trump, anything that's behind Trump. Like I just I don't even know. Like, when it comes to just the politics that is the country, the government, the fucking fiasco that's life, I feel like it's just this circus show is just incredibly scary, bro. It's scary and just mind numbing because, like, you really don't know what to do. It's like, yo, you can't believe you're a part of this existence where the government is like, they didn't believe the virus, or no, they knew how dangerous it was and they still said no because that's what Trump did.
And we're talking about, these motherfuckers patting themselves on the back, and we're staring down the barrel of 200,000 people dead. So I mean, that's just not to laugh about it, but the sheer absurdity that, like, we're at this point, and these people just don't give a shit, and they will not give a shit. And I'll segue into the right next topic. Rest in peace to the wonderful Miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Supreme Court
peace.
Justice. Has lived a long, powerful life, and did what she could. And it's, again, unfortunate that her death comes with another step closer to fascism, in which these people who don't give a shit about the public, don't give a shit about any sort of rules, they ain't mourning her. They're going straight to saying, who can we put in her fucking seat? They're, I'm sure they don't give a shit about our funeral. All them condolences they was handing out was memos. They didn't give a shit about it. All they care about is getting ready to put another fucking right-wing judge on that Supreme Court Justice Board. So it's just crazy. And,
this country is
it's
a fucking
unfortunate.
game. Yeah. This country has just become a game.
It's become a game, and we're crunching down into, like, one of the most crucial times in recent American history, of where we're at that turning point where everybody, not I know the people's doing what they got to do for the most part. The people that are gonna do what they're gonna do, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I can't speak for certain types of groups of people, because I don't know what the fuck they do. I don't know what some of these white folks is doing. Because listen, last election they were talking about, nobody's voting for Trump. We ain't doing this, but 53% of white women voted Trump, so somebody was lying. So like, I'm just gonna hope that motherfuckers just show up in the polls. I don't want to hear people tell me who they're voting for. Just vote for it. Like, I just want to see the numbers. I don't care about make sure you're doing this. No, make sure you get your ass and go vote if you are gonna vote. And then conversely, it just has to be people in positions of power already. Democrats in Congress and the Senate, they need to step up, and they got to do what they got to do to block whatever nomination is coming, just like Republicans did to Obama. You can't be doing this shit that Democrats like to do, where they're just sitting on their ass and try to say, oh, we're gonna take the high road. Fuck this high road. They ain't no high road. There's a high road, they chopping down the pillars holding up the high road. They're trying to collapse that bridge. Like, we don't have time for these niceties when they're literally your constituents that voted you in. These are the people that are at risk to the regimes that are going to be put in place by what could be your inaction by these Democrats sitting on their fucking asses. If they're not doing something, then the very people that voted for them could be at risk. And that's it's supposed to be the entire point of this government. You are the people serving their constituents. So just a pivotal time. Rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah. Nah, that shit is absolutely crazy, bro. Just overall, like, when you just really sit back and think about it, like, I always just say, like, at this point, it is just about, like you said, it's like, vote to get this motherfucker out, like, period. This is not even a conversation, and it does suck. Like, I feel like overall, afterwards, yes, we do need to, like, find what's next, because I feel like the shit is just a corrupted system overall.
It's
this
just like, right. It's, to me, I look at it as like, all right, it's not even like the people think like, for me personally, if I'm talking about, go and vote, I don't think if we vote the motherfucker out, I could breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not what it means. Exactly.
Just, okay, we don't have the fascism, but this shit is still bad. It still needs to get fixed. It's just, let's focus on that first, and then we'll figure this shit out. But yeah, so let's jump into the meat of the episode, the final topic. Earlier, again, the mysterious level 57 dark priest known as
Voldemort
himself. He was speaking on, music contracts, how his contracts are tied up, and I just want to speak in general how his conversation has really sparked a lot of people, or just not necessarily sparked, but more so reignited the conversation of how predatory music contracts are, to any artist, young artists, but more specifically artists of color, black artists, young black artists. We see this time and time again. People that we know to be legends or people of great stature. You come to find out they're not seeing as much money as they should be from their ventures, because unfortunately these contracts have just tied these people up. And it's just time and time again that we're talking about, going back to the 70s, 80s, 90s. It doesn't matter. As long as music's been a business, we just seen people get shafted and shafted again, because these companies are only concerned with the bottom line, how much you can produce for them, and that's it. And so it's just, the biggest example I wanted to bring up was Hit Boy. Hit Boy spoke about, in his instance, the duality of how he felt, Kanye's speaking, where, he feels he's getting shafted, but Hit Boy's like, well, you shafted me. He was saying he worked with Beyonce, and then Kanye never really paid him for all of this stuff. And he gave him niggas in Paris. He gave him this, that, and the third, and he didn't see the lick of it. Mace, P. Diddy, guys who own other people's masters. I don't know if it's true, but the rumor that Jay-Z sold Kanye's masters to get his own masters back or something. And I'm just like I don't know.
Selling each other, say.
All right. So it's just, and I just mean predatory in general, because it seems to be that, from what this information, that even people who did get fucked over are now fucking people over when they get to the position that they can do that. And it should just, all that shit just has to go. And, Hit Boy was saying he's 33 and he's still on the same contract that he got signed to when he was 18. We're talking about like a 15-year contract. And he said his shit is like legitimately like a 30-something year contract. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
Dude got owned. Like he's somebody owns him. He's owned right now.
And this is how bad they get. And you mentioned it earlier in the when we were talking earlier about how, these people come in with lawyers, but people expect these lawyers to be able to do something. But, unless you got people on your team that are from the jump with you, that have your best interests at heart, these people are, serving themselves first and foremost. You very rarely see people from the jump, come up in a way that allows them to have access to the stuff that they have access to. Because again, these contracts from the jump are predatory, and they use these enticing things. They'll say, sign right now, we'll give you 500 cash up front, not realizing that, going forward, you could be getting paid tens of $1 million for what you're doing, but you only seeing 100K every month
right now. Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's crazy. Like, I was looking at some of those breakdowns, and I hate to make it Kanye, but the motherfucker, at least he put his contracts on this. So I was reading some shit. The dude was getting like, I think he only got $3 million for Life of Pablo, $8 million for fucking like, I think I don't know if it said Watch the Throne or one of his albums, Yeezus. Like, it's crazy. So you think like they put that money in front of you, it's so hard to say no to that shit. But then you see the album go ahead and sell and make like $50 or $100 million for the label, and you dead ass only got that advance, and maybe like an extra 5 to 10 mil, like maybe, and that's generous. Like, you might only get another like 3, 4 to 5% from the actual like total generated wealth and like income from your album's success. So it's just like, how do they continue to get these things off? Why do they continue to get these things off? We need to get people in everybody's corner that's just looking out for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, no more of these random managers and these guys that could take your career X, Y, and Z. I feel like that should be dead, because like I feel like the state of our like generation, like what we've been able to do is that a lot of us has really just created the idea of the independent. Like, even if you have like a manager or like somebody in your crew, the homie that's like holding it down and helping you make business moves, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually that stuff is safer, it's more organic. And I mean, it's more reminiscent to maybe like some of like, I would say golden age 90s, because a lot of those old school groups, like hood dudes that just came up together and, was disc jogging off each other. I mean, obviously it ended up bad in the sense that, they all got bought out by the major record labels. And then obviously shit, like you said, Jay-Z rumored had sold Ye shit for his, like, you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate. And it even puts me back. Like, I mean, I don't want to forget this, but I remember when Khalees was complaining about like the Neptunes and then the Pharrell shit with the beats, like same thing. Like, that shit really be happening across like
And
Same thing
it
with
just
genders,
sucks
like, yeah,
that
female, male, like, it doesn't even matter. It's
it
like
doesn't even matter. And it sucks that, you people, like I was saying, but in, let's say in the instance, I'm sure the Neptunes got shafted on their way up. But
mhm,
why is it, standard practice that, okay, you get to a stature and then you start exploiting people? Like,
mhm,
wouldn't you be the first person to be like, hey, somebody did that to me. You know what? I'm going to make sure you get your dues.
facts.
Why does it turn into, okay, I'm here at this level? Because, if you look at Diddy, right? Diddy's infamous for spitting out and laying waste to artists that get signed to him and that
Mhm,
don't see a lick of the shit that they're doing. And it's, we look at Diddy as this mogul and we look at some people as these moguls. But when you hear that shit, like, well, how much of a mogul are you if you stealing from motherfuckers? Like, you're not giving them the money that they deserve for that.
yeah,
Now, that's
you a
to say
crook,
he's
you a
not a,
hustler.
yeah. Right. So it's like, okay, you got business savvy, but it's like, all right, sounds like your savvy is just really, manipulating
Shady.
your way. Yeah,
Mhm,
you're just, finding a way so that you come out on top, no matter whose expense. And it should be like you said, and I find it, that's why, I personally just don't give a shit about celebrities anymore. Fuck all of them.
yeah, fuck
But I just look
celebrities, yeah.
but I just look at that like that's hilarious, because Diddy would be the first person to be like, yo, spread black love, spread black wealth. You spread black wealth,
Mhm.
motherfucker.
So this
You
shit is
got the money to
crazy.
do it.
That shit is
So
crazy. Like, and you're spitting facts. Like, you really honestly, I think, summed it up perfectly in that statement. It's that, and like, I hate to like bring him overly up, but Joe Budden, like, and it was De La Soul. That's who he was talking about. They were having label and contract
oh,
issues, same thing with their masters, and it was just kind of like, you know, like in that conversation, and when they brought up P Diddy and Mace, and because of the fact that he's on Revolt and they got that affiliation, Joe don't talk bad about him, and it was very, very telling in that conversation that all of these motherfuckers are fucked. That's what really it is. Like, the world is a shitty place for real. Like, even in the business game, they're like this is just what they see. That's how they see it. You know what I'm saying? P Diddy, even if he feels like he invested X, Y, and Z into Mace's start, and from that, Mace was able to take that and generate X, Y, and Z, way more money or that whatever than whatever was invested. Like I remember he so nonchalantly said on the episode, it was some shit like he was like, so that's business. And it's just like, yo, that literally is business.
yeah.
Like,
And
that's
it's just
literally
like,
corporate
why?
business.
Right.
It's shit.
It's
It's a
crazy
terrible.
that like you're just like, well, I gotta fuck somebody over, and I'm like, but why does it have to
Why? Like,
be
why
this
does it
way?
have to be this way?
Because it's like when you look at, in my case, like I'm not too tied to the underground beat scene, but I'm enough into it, and I know an extensive amount of people in that, and it's just for the most part. In that regard, when people fuck with you, they go out of the way, be like, "Yo, bro, that was fire! Boom, boom, boom. We should collab." And it's if they're genuine, it's usually nothing but just genuine. I'm just here for the music and the culture, and it's
Mhm.
just like, why does when the money come in, the business come in, it just gets so diluted? And I just find that so crazy from an artist standpoint, working with other artists when it should just be both about, hey, listen, we're both in this struggle shit. Let's find a way to make this profit.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that
that's
shit
why
is
I love
trippy.
to see like, artists work together and it looks genuine. But hearing who I would believe to be genuine, and then some people get or they're not as genuine, they're doing the shafting. Like, not to keep bringing up Ye, but outside of Hit Boy, I'm just remembering now too, yo. People's talking about, I remember Hudson Mohawk, the dude
Mhm.
who produced a lot of shit on Watch the Throne, and most notably like New Slaves and stuff like that.
Mhm.
He's talking about he never saw a lick of his money from any of that shit.
Yeah,
So it's
nah, I
just,
was
you're
seeing a
talking
couple of
about
people
like,
actually came out the woodwork about Ye over the weekend.
yeah.
Like, he started that conversation, but he definitely didn't make himself look good, and I believe it. Ye is that type of guy. He's a
And
Donald
who was
Trumpian.
another one? What was another? I think it was a beat off of. Damn, I can't remember. There's
I
one of the
understand too.
Kendrick albums, but
Mhm.
somebody was saying that they gave the beat to Kendrick, and Punch, this dude's the manager
Yeah,
was
Punch
just,
CD. Yeah,
yeah, he was just, he gave it to him, and he was playing games with the producer, and they just never the producer never saw that money, and you're just like, yo, you're just all doing this, and
yeah,
it's just so crazy that you're going on the album talking about, or you're saying you have shitty deals, but you're doing it to other people.
I'm doing
Like,
it to other
I
people,
don't
bro.
understand the point of that, like, especially if you're looking at your own things, and I just don't understand, like, what's the purpose of fucking other people over just because you got fucked over it? You be like, I know me, like, I know if all right, I got fucked over, how can I try to stop this shit from happening? And I know there's some genuine artists out there that are saying, hey, listen, this is how this shit works, this is how you can finesse your way to make sure you don't get fucked over.
Mm.
um
Yeah,
but
you
also
would
I
think
feel
that's
like
human nature. That shit is crazy. Like, it's like me. I go to the dealership lot. I go buy a car. I get a bad fucking loan with bad interest, and I drive for 4 years before my friend gets a car. But now I know what it's like to go to the car and get fucked over. What am I gonna do when my friend asks me for advice about going to get a car? I'm not gonna go tell him, yo, you know what? Go get that $60,000 Mercedes Benz off the lot. No, because guess what? I know what depreciation is. I know that you shouldn't buy the car fresh off the lot, and that you should get your car at 30,000 miles or 20,000 miles, like, when it's still in brand new condition, but you're able to shave up 40%. Smart
Yeah.
buying, better interest deals, better places to buy, or looking for certain things. Like, that is human nature. You know what I'm saying? You would think that's human nature, but like, it's weird. Like, some people literally will lead their friends into like traps or some shit like that, or they'll at least disguise themselves as like a sheep, but they'll be a wolf in sheep's clothing and
Yeah.
shit. It's just like, it's really, really sad that is going on. And I really feel like, if we could like figure out a way, or at least maybe our generation hopefully will be the change, but I know that shit
Could be,
happens
yeah.
amongst us too. Shit. I mean,
Right.
I know this is unrelated because it's not necessarily the same thing, but I remember, I think there was this dude, I don't even remember, it's just random as fuck. I remember A Boogie like was fucking with this dude with the jewelry, and it was like a young
Oh
dude who was
yeah.
selling jewelry, and he ended up lacing him with mad jewelry and mad sneakers and things like that. It was one of those dudes, like the
Yeah. I
streetwear
remember that
gurus
too.
on Instagram, and he ain't pay him. Like, but bro, you
Yeah,
get in this
man.
bag. I got this bag on me. Like, that's your song, bro. But you don't not paying the dude for his 20,000, his 15,000.
Oh,
He
and you're not
like,
paying this. How am I
it should,
supposed to believe anything you're saying if you're
yeah.
just not even paying these people? And for me, I look at it as like comes down to, at the very basic, like, just signs of respect for crafts. And I just, any creative just disrespecting other creatives in when it comes to that process of, hey, I need your services, and you just constantly see people who you would assume that because they're also in a creative field would be the most understanding, turn out to be the least understanding. Like,
Right.
and for instances, I'm talking about rappers. They go and get beats. Yo, I need a beat. All right, my rate is 300. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, then we not talking. But they'll be like, nah, but I'm gonna do, but I need this. And you trying to plead the case, but it's like, if you're trying to get paid, you should know that I'm trying to get paid. And you should be able to respect and listen. If you can't pay the shit, that's okay. But you shouldn't be trying to fuck other people around and be like, this is as much as I can go. Okay, well, that's it. That's where the transaction ends. But you constantly see this shit, in your case,
Mhm.
photographers, videographers, people are trying to constantly underpay and be like, oh, I want to do a whole day shoot. Okay, well, how much is it going to be? Probably like, 500. They were like, oh, I thought it'd cost $50. Well, you fucking thought
You
wrong.
fucking thought wrong, bro. You definitely thought wrong, and delete my number and never hit me again, please. Yeah, nah,
And you just wonder, and it's just like, I think it's just a respect for each other, but also, it's definitely society in general has just completely disrespected the arts in general. Get some
Mhm.
funding in schools, and they always teach you, oh, the businessman, that's the guy making the real money, X, Y, and Z. But it's just disrespect for the arts, where people don't realize that shit is labor. I was trying to
Yeah.
explain it to my young bull Nick, where he does his car shoots, and somebody's trying to give him this money. I'm like, nah, bro, you better go back and tell him you charging this much now.
Yeah.
Like, he takes good pictures, and I'm like, he's at a young age, so I don't want him to get into that habit where people's not paying him that money, because I see it.
I
But
would love
it's
to comment on that, yo. And a lot of people don't understand, and I know people be looking for opportunities. I know people love taking photos, and I love, like, bro, do not do free or underpaid
no
work.
free shit.
Do not
Don't
do
do
that
it.
shit. You
You gotta know
literally
your
tank
worth.
the value. You literally take the value of the whole community. It's not just you. When they know they can go to you and get those shots for free and or cheap, whether or not you enjoy doing it for content that maybe likes and engagement that you may have, maybe you feel like that's currency or transactional in some way, shape, or form. No, you should be getting paid to take somebody's photos. Period. Point blank. It don't matter
Period.
what it is.
Period. It's work. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's fucking work. If you have to, you're putting in the labor to take the shots and then edit them. If you're putting hours out of your day, not for you, but for somebody else, they need to pay you for those hours that you are dedicating your life to the shit that they want.
Exactly.
And that goes for no matter what. If it's a painting, you know, some form of digital art,
art. I mean, beat making, music. I mean, it don't matter what it is.
Don't matter shit. Pay me, pay you, pay everybody for this shit. Why is it so hard for people to come out of their pockets and just respect that craft has to go into it? You know, if somebody has a painting, oh, I like that painting. How much is 100? If you break down the math, if somebody's like, yo, it's $300, they're gonna be like, that's a crazy amount. But if you break it down, they're probably like, well, it takes me 30 hours to do it. Guess what? That's $10 an hour. And that's really not that much.
That's nothing.
That's cheap.
That's cheap as fuck. That's under minimum wage to do some fucking crazy shit that you obviously have to go to a specialist for. That shit is just, I don't know, man. People are so fucking foul. So it is crazy. It's demoralizing. I swear to God, I swear that gives me like anxiety and depression. When people reach out to me, knowing just the bullshit that they're on 90% of occasion, I'm just like, nah, there's no way. Yo, imagine this. I always say this, though. If you reach out to me to take photos or hit you up for photos, if you're not going to pay me, imagine how much motivation I'm going to have to shoot and knock out your photos out the park when I know that I have to dedicate my time, my thoughts.
It's for exposure, though, dude. It's for exposure, man.
Like, oh, man. Like, we just going to body the gram. What? You think that makes me want to get up and take photos of you? You think that that motivates me to like think outside the box and go crazy on your shoot? Oh, let me edit it for hours and fall in love with your photo? Like, no, that does not happen.
Service. I'm giving you a fucking service. Pay me for the fucking service, because I guarantee you, if somebody did that shit to you, you'd be like, where's my money? Why are you trying to do it to other fucking people? Doesn't matter if you're a rapper and you're trying to make a project, you need to pay the producers involved. You need to pay the mixing engineers involved. You need to pay whoever does your album, but pay all of those people the fair wages that they deserve. If they negotiate whatever money, you need to pay them for the shit. Unless you're trying to learn and do that shit on your own, that's fine. Go ahead. Go be that person. That's totally cool, because that's what I do. I do all that shit by myself. But for anything I need, and I'm going to pay somebody for it.
Facts. That's how I move. Exactly.
And if you can't afford it, then you have to find somebody in your budget or learn to do it on your own. Like, that's why this shit exists. You know, people think that you could just up and do this shit. No, that's why these things exist, because other people have put in that time and effort, and you have to pay those people for that time and effort, unless you want to put in the time and effort.
Facts. And I mean, shit, I be telling people, man, yo, stop the bull job. Stop that shit. Stop the bull job.
Stop that shit. Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help. MJ,
unbelievable. But yeah, but yeah, shit. Is that it for us?
I think that's it, man. I think we tied it up pretty nice. I mean, I really like what we ended, the note on that serious note, just with the contracts and musicians, creatives in general. It's not just about the $1 billion, monolith. I don't feel like he should, it sucks, because I feel like him, like in his position, he's able to do that, unfortunately, because he has that much fucking power. Money is unfortunately power in a capitalist society. So, we need to get it back to where we as the people get that power back, and creatives, yo, fight for your worth. Yo, Nick, stand 10 toes down, man. Don't take no pictures of nobody's GTR, bro. Trust me, there's a reason why most of these motherfuckers don't be having crazy photos. It don't matter because they have nice cars. They don't just have people taking photos of their car. They got to pay people for that. And trust me, like if they like your skill, they'll pay you too. That's how you really got to rock.
That's what it comes down to. Because I had a producer I met, and he had the years in the industry, and he's just like, listen, the people that are coming to you, that if they come to you and it's somebody that, you see they got the followers, they got that, and they tell you they got no money. No, those are the motherfuckers that got money. And that's the ones that you should tell them, nah, this is my full fucking rate. If you want to give discounts or whatever the case, you should do it. If you're going to do that, it should be for maybe somebody that, is on your level. They only got like 100 followers. You help out the little man, but for the people that got the money, that's not the ones that you should be giving discounts to.
Absolutely.
Like I hear producers be like, oh, well, all these people hitting me up. Oh, I'm only going to give it to him for 250 instead or whatever. No, if a Drake hit me up, guess what? All of a sudden, I'm saying that's 10K for a beat.
That's a
I'm sorry,
10K.
that's it. You got the 10K and it would be nothing to you.
You got the 10? You got the 10? Oh, man. Nah, that's a fact.
So, but
Drake hit me up for a photo tomorrow. Nah, yo, Drizzy 50. Yo, I need that 50. What's up, bro? We gonna break the gram. That 50 budget. You know what I'm gonna do?
You know what I'm gonna do, man? I'm gonna hook you up.
Yeah, bro.
Know your worth. That's what it just comes down to. And I know people compare themselves and you see other work, but you gotta at the very least just know, like, listen, I deserve at the very least this much money. Or at least if you can't even think about it like that, just think about it how I explained it earlier. Just think about it like as a per hour basis and charge by that. If you want to give yourself a rate of a certain amount of work per hour, that's totally fine. And charge by that. Say, hey, listen, based on what you're giving me, it's probably going to take me this long to do this entirely. My rate is 10 an hour. Calculated, I'm going to put 30 hours of work. That's $300. So my rate is $300. And you let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. And also, too, just a tiny little piece of advice. Like I stopped trying to, have my beats be sold because motherfuckers just be constantly. And I don't take kindly to that kind of disrespect. You're either going to pay me or I'm just going to straight ignore you. Like, I don't care. I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not trying to make you feel good for hitting me up. I'm not trying to I don't care about that burning bridges shit. Don't hit me up.
Nah, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way, bro.
I don't give a single fuck. So the my beats advice is when they come and ask you, you ask off rip, well, what's your budget? Before you even start pulling prices, just tell them what's your budget. And I'll tell you right then and there, I'm sorry, the shit I'm charging is past your budget. So if you're trying to come out of pocket for it, cool. If not, then this is as far as this conversation goes.
Facts.
So know your worth and just, let people come to you who know your worth and will pay you for that. So from all of us here at the Touch the City podcast, we thank you for tuning in to another riveting episode of us talking our shit. This has been episode 28, aka who did I put this week?
Shit, who's 28?
Why I can't even see the name of the podcast or what I named the session. Anyways, I'll figure it out at some point. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you in the next one.